What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on, CBN? This was going to be a live on my YouTube, but I decided not to do it. I just wanted this to just be for the family, for everybody in the group in CBN, CBN, the regular group, and also the automations. But I think this is mainly focused to the people that are in the main group. So today we had the monthly meetings, and the CBA meeting was like at 4, and then the regular meeting was at 5. And it was really good today because the meeting at 5, it had like over 40 people, which is awesome. We love to see so many people participate in those meetings because if you're not kind of posting in the group, it helps for you to get into those monthly calls. Because if you look at it this way, you have AJ one on one, and you can ask your questions individually, within the group setting of the Zoom call. But we do ask that you definitely still put your questions in the group, because you never know. Somebody may have the same question as you, and they aren't able to get onto the Zoom meeting. So if you put that question in there and it gets answered in there, then they will also be able to kind of get their question answered. But during this meeting, I noticed a few things, and I kind of wanted to touch on it, and and hopefully it's helpful to a lot of people. And some of the information I'm going to tell you, um, I'm not going to tell you the stuff that's in the automations. You got to get the automations, because that's definitely where all the answers are for the most part, as long as you kind of put into action the things that AJ teaches you in that course, which is what I did. I did that by starting my virtual assistant staffing agency. And that's not what this is about, but I'm gonna kind of put that in there to kind of help you understand what I'm talking about. So I started the Clean Success Staffing Agency, which is a virtual assistant staffing agency for virtual assistants to be serviced out to cleaning business owners. And a lot of times, what I've noticed, and I learned how to do this while I was in the automations, because AJ teaches you how to um, hire overseas virtual assistants. He not necessarily teaches you how to train them, but he teaches you how to document your all your processes and SOPs and everything. And all training is, in my opinion, is an organized SOP that you kind of share with people that are going to be in your organization to help you do whatever it is you need them to do. So from the starter kit that AJ has out, because I've gone through it multiple times, from the automations, I learned how to do all of this stuff. So I've noticed that a lot of people was asking about virtual assistants, previously, and now today, a lot of people were talking about it. So I created a company that hires virtual assistants. So we have over, I think we're up to like 15 to 20 virtual assistants that we have that are ready to go. And we have like priority people that are already on the list to kind of get those virtual assistants. But there's going to be, I'll put all that information. I'm not going to talk about all that. I'll put all that information in the comment section, so you can go and kind of look at it. But it's virtual assistants that have been trained to be virtual assistants for cleaning business owners. And I say this because I've hired quite a few virtual assistants. I've done a lot of interviews. I've done over probably close to 100 interviews with virtual assistants. So I'm pretty good at it. And I've learned certain things that can kind of help a lot of people that are in the group that are looking for virtual assistants. If you don't go with a company or whatever to, whether it be my company or another company that can kind of get you virtual assistants, certain things I want you to know. And I'm not going to touch on the stuff that are in automations. You got to get the automations to get it. But I'm going to give you a trick of the trade that I've learned. All right. In the CRM, you have a way of creating forms. You have a way of creating applications. When you go ahead and put out your application or whatever, where you put out your posts to wherever you're going to put out your posts for your virtual assistants, one thing you want to do is, and which is what I do with my VAs, is in my application, all of my applications have them put in their resume, a portfolio, if it's going to be somebody that is going to be a virtual assistant, a social media marketer, and stuff like that. So they usually have portfolios of jobs that they've done previously. So they'll have a portfolio in there. I always make sure that they either give me a video or they give me a voice recording. And I'm gonna tell you what this does. What this does is it allows me to hear that virtual assistant and also see them if they do a video. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow me to know, okay, can I understand this virtual assist this person? So if this person is going to be making cold calls for me, now I know how they sound, right? Because I know if it was me, when it comes to getting phone calls, and I get a phone call from someone, one, if they sound like they're reading from a script, I'm hanging up. I don't have time for it. I got too much going on to be, listening to somebody read from a script, right? So you want to make sure that they sound like, it's natural. They're just talking, they have good communication skills. The other thing is you're listening for how strong the accent is. Can you understand them? Or do you have to really, really pay attention to understand what they're saying? That's a turn off for me. So when I'm hiring my virtual assistants, I'm already in the application process of it. I already know, okay, well, this person is the accent is a little bit too strong. They're going to be on a wait list or not a fit list or whatever. But the people that sound really, really good, that their English is extremely well, they can communicate back and forth. I was like, okay, that works. They can have an interview. Then we have another Zoom interview, and we kind of go over, ask them certain questions. I give them certain tasks to do to kind of see if they're a good fit for what I want to hire them for, whether it be social media. If it's a social media person, I'm going to have them perform a task, or even see. Here's another trick. Some of the social media people that I've actually hired, um, two of them in particular, I hired those specifically because they went one step further than the other people that have applied for the virtual assistant job. But what they did was they did research on my company. So in doing research for that company, they've already gone to my website, they've gone to my social media. So when they came to the interview, they were already ready to go. And they were like, well, we looked at your site and this is what we think you could do. This is what we think you should change. And I would ask them questions because on my website, there's before it got changed recently by my virtual assistant, I said, okay, all right, you looked on my website. So what would you change on my website? Because I already knew that there were things on my website that kind of didn't match up because I actually did it myself until my new virtual assistant did it. But prior to that, I done it myself. So I saw the inconsistencies. I saw, fonts that needed to be changed. And I was like, okay, that needs to be changed. So when I talked to that virtual assistant or that applicant at the time, they were like, well, you need to change the font, you need to change this, you need to change that. So that kind of triggered. I was like, okay, they actually looked, they actually did their research, they actually put in the effort, they went the extra mile to kind of make sure that the interview went well. So that put them well far above anybody else. That's with that. The other thing is, like, if somebody's applying for cold calling or anything like that, what I would do is I would have them cold call me, right? Cold call me, sell me, get an interview or a walkthrough with me. Okay, so how would you do it? Because a lot of times, what you'll find out, and like I said, I've done almost 100, if not over 100 interviews already, and I've learned a lot from automations, specifically on how to do that. But I've learned that most virtual assistants have never been a virtual assistant for a cleaning company. They've been a virtual assistant for real estate. They've been a virtual assistant for insurance. They've been a virtual assistant for healthcare, for solar panels, for all this other stuff. And they say that they've been cold calling. We have experience cold calling an appointment setting. But what you will realize after you've done a number of interviews, you'll realize that cold calling is not the same. When they say that they've been cold calling, they haven't been cold calling like they've been cold called for a cleaning business owner. This is a scenario, this is how they do it. If they're going to be cold calling, they're cold calling people that have already, uh, they're already in a lead magnet. They've already filled out something saying that they wanted insurance or they wanted health care or they wanted this, that, and the other. And it went to a lead magnet. So they already have their information, right? So I say not 9 times out of 10, but 8 times out of 10, they probably are expecting a call. So when you call them, they're already going to know, hey, yeah, I did fill this out. I did have questions about that, right? So what they're going to do, the cold call or the virtual assistant, they're going to call them. They're going to ask them a certain number of questions, and then if they fit that criteria for those questions, they're going to send them to a salesperson, right? That's not how it works for cold calling for a cleaning business owner, right? For cleaning businesses, our virtual assistants actually have to have some type of experience in sales. Well, I won't say they have to, but it would benefit if they did have experience in sales, because when we're calling, we're actually doing the sale. We're selling a walkthrough, we're selling a consultation, we're selling getting into their facility to provide them with a quote. That's the sales part of it. The calling is just, that's easy to do. Being able to sell and being able to get in front of the person that's responsible for deciding decided a new cleaning, the person that's responsible for hiring the cleaning businesses, to take over the facility, that's sales. That's not just calling. So you have to be able to either have experience in sales or you have to know how to train them. Like I said, once again, I have a company that I just started. I completely train these guys, and I say completely meaning they know how to handle the Go High Level CRM that we use. They know the lingo for cleaning businesses. They know how to set appointments in Go High Level in our CRM. They know how to do cold calls, um, and a number of things that I've already trained them in. They went through a training process that they have to before they're even eligible uh, to be placed with the client, right? But I'm telling you this because I want you, if you're going to try to go get your virtual assistant yourself, certain things you need to know how to do, you need to know how to look for, that's going to save you a lot of heartache. Then you won't have to go through 100 interviews, right? You'll be able to kind of weed them out at the application process. And then after you get to the application process, you'll be able to say, okay, well, let me give them a task. Okay, do this, give me a call and try to sell me on a walkthrough. Look at my website or provide me with some examples of your previous work, right? Because like I said, 9 times out of 10, more times than not, they have not been a virtual assistant for a cleaning business owner, and it's completely different than being a virtual assistant for another company. So with that being said, just understand you have a lot of uh, resources in CBN. AJ has put into place so many things that we have not kind of tapped in to the greatness that's in CBN, right? In CBN, the starter kit, the lead generation service, the mentorship that he kicked off, the automations, top notch automations takes over everything, right? Automations teaches you how to automate everything. Like as a matter of fact, with all my interviews and all my subcontracting and all that stuff, all my stuff is pretty much automated for the most part. I go in and I tweak things here and there, but my stuff is automated because of the automations course, and it saves me a lot of time. It allows me to sit here and smoke a cigar. It allows me to have those be on those meetings during in the middle of the day, right? And also, it just allows me the time to grow and scale my business. So definitely, if you haven't gotten into the automations, you haven't looked into it, kind of look into it, pay attention to some of the things that AJ talks about in the group about automations, look into it, do a call with them and get into it, because it'll definitely help you get to where I am. And I'm not saying I'm in a place that everybody wants to be in or that I'm higher than anybody else. I just listened to what the hell the dude said to do and I did it, right? That's all you have to do. Listen to what he gives you, everything. He kind of walks you through, he gives you the blueprint to everything that you need to know. Follow what he says, because I'm telling you it works, because I've done it. I did everything. I've done almost everything that he said do, and it's worked. So I just wanted to let you know there are resources out there for you in CBN before you start going to other people and buying from them, when you got the GOAT right here in the group. You're in the group with the GOAT of the cleaning business industry. So definitely use that time. Use the Facebook group. Use the monthly calls. Use those times. Use his videos. Use my videos. There's multiple people in the group that do YouTube videos. A lot of my videos have to do with automations and stuff like that. So look into that also. But that's the way to go. You have everything you need in the group. You really do, right? And if it's not in the group, I promise you, we can tell you how to do it, as opposed to going somewhere else and going through them. You have the inside scoop. You have the inside connect with everything that you're going to need to get your cleaning business going. Like I said, this was mainly just to help you guys because I've been there. I've been where you are, and I'm trying to go some more places, and I'm willing to take as many people along with me that I can, because I want to give back. I want to give back because AJ gave and helped me out, with providing for the starter course and the lead generation service and just all the stuff that he's provided. And I got to give back, and that's how I feel that I give back, by sharing the information that I've learned. Like I said, I'm not going to share the automation stuff. You got to get the automation, but I'm sharing you some tidbits that I've learned because I learned from the automations, and some things that actually helped me kind of catapult, to another level, to be able to start another business. Another business is going to help cleaning business industry. It's eventually going to go to other services, but right now it's strictly for the cleaning business industry. And I want to be able to give you guys kind of kind of like a heads up, or not even a heads up, but a step up, so you don't have to go through that process. I've already done it for you. If you want to have a call with me that I could tell you about some stuff, hit me up in the group. I can tell you some stuff to kind of help you out. But by all means, utilize the resources that are in this group, because this group is amazing and it's going to take you to the next level. With that being said, you guys have a great day. I'm going to smoke my cigar and drink my bourbon, and I'm out. You guys have a blessed day.